Okay, so the third mistake. So this is the part 3 of the other two videos, and if you want to watch, you can go ahead and watch it in my playlist. So the topic that we were discussing in the previous video, this is an extended version. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why it's important that you do not attach yourself, your emotions to your profits or losses, because when you are attaching yourself to the outcomes of your trading results, you are not able to think clearly, you are not able to think logically, and you are living in an euphoria. Because when you are having consistent profits, you start thinking that you're gonna keep the streak, you are always gonna win, and you're gonna be a future millionaire or billionaire or whatever you think of. But that's not how it works. That's literally not how it works. And because these consistent wins, they twist your psychology, and you're not able to see a vivid picture. And when there comes a time when there are no setups available, when the market is choppy or it's a downtrend, when it's economic downturn or something like that, and there is no setup present, you are forcing trades where they do not exist, and we don't want this happening. And when this happens, you end up losing. And when you end up losing, you are like, no, this can't be happening, maybe this one didn't work, so maybe next one will work. And then again you are trying to take that money out of the markets, and then you are doing revenge trading, and then again you lose, then again you are trying to get back to the market, and market never leaves a chance to humble you. So what you can do is, you do not attach yourself to the profit or loss. The best thing you can do is, you can take following discipline as a win, or be it profit, whether you lose, whether you win, you attach yourself to the discipline. Like, if I follow my trading plan, if I executed accordingly, in accordance with whatever I planned, then only I am a winner, then only I am going in a right direction, then only I'm moving in the right angle. But if I did on contrary, then that's when you are allowed to feel the pain. Don't feel the pain because the trade went against you and you are in a losing trade, but feel pain. You are allowed to feel pain when you break your discipline, because we all know that we are looking at the longer term picture. We have a longer term picture, and we are focusing on longer term returns, and we know that it's compounded return. In the long term, the compounded returns is what makes us profitable, not these small consistent profits, but there would be losses, there would be profits. It's all about consistently trading, and then in the long term you are looking at the end result. So instead of focusing on the process and execution, the trader becomes obsessed with profit and loss. That's where things starts going wrong. So what I'm trying to say, why it's a mistake, it's because when we start focusing on profit and loss, it clouds our judgment. We are not able to judge properly, we are not able to think logically. And to master this art, it takes time, it takes patience. No matter how much amount of time you have spent reading, no matter how much amount of time you have spent backtesting charts, no matter how many rules you have laid, but when it comes to carrying out the plan, you're not able to. You are driven by emotions. So not your decisions, they are backed up by, they are driven by emotions, not by logic. So what happens, because when we are letting our emotions drive us, so we start distorting, we start tweaking our rules, it creates a tilt. A losing streak can spiral into a reckless behavior, and that reckless behavior is literally distortion of our discipline. So in order to avoid this, there is one thing I would recommend, is that you start journaling. You start literally reviewing your mistakes, where you went wrong, where you went against your plan, what mistakes you did, where you let your emotions take control over you, where you let your emotions possess you, and in turn tweak your trading decisions. But reviewing, you will be having a next time whenever you go into any trade, you will open your mistakes, and then you will be like, okay, this time I'm gonna try to avoid these mistakes, I'm gonna try not to repeat them. So that's the only way you can overcome. Yeah, there are a lot of other ways, but for me personally, this works for me. You can come up with something else, maybe not just reviewing, like you take a break from trading completely when there is a losing streak. This may work for you, but and for someone, some other person, something else may work. So it's not just about one thing, there are a lot of things, but for me personally, this is what works. So I am, so if you're trying to like get a different insight on this topic, if a brief insight, I would recommend you to read The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler. It has helped me enormously, and one of the sentence I would recall, attachment makes you vulnerable to tilt. When you are too much attached to your profit and loss, you are literally making your emotions, you are literally making your decisions in the end moment, you're making them vulnerable to changes. And the key is detaching your identity from results. This is what Jared Tendler says. So the key point, the key takeaway is that we have to detach ourselves, because if we are too much attached with our profits, with our like if it's your habit, because I also used to have this habit, that you are, when you have a consistent winning streak, you are like opening up your you are opening your profit and loss statement, and you are looking at your bank statement, you are looking at how much you made, how much you lose. So like there would be times when you are in a winning streak. At that time you will feel euphoric, and you will be above the clouds, and you are like, oh, that's me, I can never be wrong. And then that's like distorting your behavior, and you can never be right, you can never be right in the market, no matter how much experience you behold, you can never be right. And there would be times when you are in a losing streak. At that time, when you will be opening your profit and loss statement, that time you will feel really disappointed, and you would be start second guessing yourself whether the decision that I took, or the career change, or the amount of time you have spent, whether it is worth it or not. And you are second guessing, and you start questioning your strategy, you start questioning your system. So you see how this cycle, how this loophole we get stuck in, if we make ourselves attached to the outcomes. So what I'm trying to say, in order to overcome is that we shift our focus to the process, that what this process is, what this process indicates. What does it mean? It means following my plan, literally following my plan without the involvement of emotions. If my plan says I have to enter at this price point, I will enter. If my plan says that I have to exit at this price point, if the price goes below this support level or beyond this resistance level, I will exit. So I simply exit. I'm not going to start letting my emotions overrule my decision. I'm not going to let them make me hopeful or fearful, or because we are focusing on the longer term, on the end goal. So the second thing that I would recommend to overcome is journaling the trades, reflecting on the execution part, not just P&L. We will journal. We will write down whether we followed our plan or we went against it. So, and the third thing that I would do in order to overcome this emotional attachment is accepting uncertainty. So losers are part of the game. They don't define you. Losers doesn't mean that your system doesn't work. They don't mean that you are not going to be survive. Because if I'm not ready to accept my loss, so I'm gonna lose more. What if it keeps going down and my stop loss gets getting bigger and bigger? Like, if I enter a trade and my stop loss is at a minus 3 to 4%, here I'm talking about swing trading, because obviously day traders, future traders, option traders, everyone have their own different type of stop loss percentage. For me as a swing trader, the average stop loss is like around 4 to 5. It can even touch to 7 to 8%, depending upon the type of trade, because we are our risk to reward ratio is 1:4. So if I'm not ready to accept my 4 to 5% loss when it gets hit, what happens? More often, what happens? The stop loss keeps getting bigger and bigger. It keeps going down, and then you are hoping that price may return to the stop loss point so that you can exit, and you start wishing to go back in time, and you do not. It doesn't always happen. If you are lucky enough, if you have very high chances, you may get to exit at the entry point, but more often it doesn't. And what will happen if the price keeps going down? So when your loss starts getting bigger and bigger, which means you are losing more and more of the capital. And next time when a valid entry arises, you don't have the money, you don't have the capital, because you are already invested and you were not ready to lose. You were not ready to accept the loss. And now when a nice opportunity arrived in front of you, you do not have any money. So the number one rule to survive in the long term will be the capital preservation. And if you are not ready to accept it, then it's like you are adamant about, no, I don't want to win. My ego can't digest the loss, so you will be stuck where you are. So the fourth recommendation I would say is detaching your identity. You are not your trades. Separate your self-image from the market outcomes. Don't describe yourself by how your portfolio reflects. What is happening in your portfolio, your identity is different. Don't let your ego ruin it. Don't take it to your ego. If few 2 to 3 trades didn't work according to your plan, don't attach your identity to it. Don't call yourself like I can't do it, because in training where you have reached to the point where you are, it took a lot of you took a lot of struggle. You are here after facing a lot of struggle, and now you just can't say that. By detaching the identity, I would like to elaborate further. Most traders don't have the okay, I will explain you in a different way. Because what traders are doing, they are building their image, because they are building their self image based on the outcomes. So they are like calling themselves like, I'm doing well because I am winning, or I'm a failure because I have lost 3 trades in a row. Or so this is like attaching your identity based on your profit and losses. So your identity is fragile, it collapses with every drawdown, and you are arrogant, and you are becoming happy when it's moving in your side, when you have a winning streak. So look at yourself. This is what you have become. So you have to get out of this. So right now the video have been extended more than intended, so I would be discussing more in the next videos. Till then, bye bye.